back. Yes, we have our guest in-house, Ambassador Dr. Otumba Adejare Adegbero of the National, who is the National Director of Special Duties and State Director of the State of the National Task Force, NATFORCE.
Yes.
Otumba Adejare, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good to see you again.
Always my pleasure.
Yeah, let me start before then, let me also tell you that he is also the founder of OAAF, that is the Otumba Adejare Adegbero Foundation. So we're talking about a whole lot of issues, NATFORCE issues, and of course the foundation issues. But let's start from, what is NATFORCE?
NATFORCE is National Task Force on Illegal Importation of Arms, Small Arms, Ammunition, and Chemical Weapons into the country. I took the job on from my present DG, who was inaugurated in January. My DG's name is Dr. Baba Mohammed, a seasoned man, worked on a lot of boards, and his direction of changing the outlook of NATFORCE.
Okay.
And he approached me, and I liked his idea and his vision, because he's someone that is very passionate about Nigeria. Yes, we've had issues in the past of NATFORCE with the old regime. When he came, he took, out of the 25 votes, he took 23 that voted him in.
Okay.
And he has been steering the ship very well, and he also wants us to have a legal teeth, which is filling in the gap, whereby that's why we have approached the National Assembly.
Is it like an NGO? That's why
It is right now as we say, is a volunteer.
Okay.
But now we want it to be part of government.
Okay.
That's why we've gone to the assembly.
Okay.
They have passed the first reading, the second reading, but unfortunately they couldn't do the third reading because they went on recess. And we hope by when they come, they will, put it into law, pass the third reading, then take it to our president to approve for it to be underneath Ministry of Interior.
Okay.
So, and NATFORCE is very broad. Right now, we are close to about 270 individuals that we have inherited. And to the president's mandate on terrorism, we have to find out where are these arms coming from, who is bringing it, who is holding it. So we are meant to work with all the agencies, from custom to police to army to DSS to NIA to DIA, all the agencies, to make sure that we pass the right information. So from our own structure, we start right from the ward all the way to the national level. So there's no part that is missing. We have all the obas, the emirs, the ballets, the society people, even down to the fishermen, because of this information that is passed on into the country.
Okay, let's talk about your foundation.
Yes.
The OAAF Otumba Adejare Adegbero Foundation. What's the motivation and what do you do here?
Well, as I've said to you before, I started my foundation. This is how my foundation started, rather. It was my late mother, Madam Sumele Rewane. She passed on, and on her 5th year remembrance, we wanted to do a party to celebrate her life. But that night I kept on having sleepless, restless night, and something was saying, don't do this party, do borehole. So I tried to do borehole in Lagos, rules and regulation, where to put it, too much stress. So I spoke to my father. I said, Daddy, this is what I want to do for mommy. And he said, okay, that he would get me where I can do it. So I went back home to where I'm from, Iwekoro, Awowo. Then we didn't have Oba, we had Bale, who is now an Oba.
Okay.
That was the first one we did. Then following on from there, we started doing Lagos, Abeokuta, Abuja, and we continue doing as money comes, we face it. Because our motto for Otumba Adejare Adigbenro Foundation is help the less privileged.
What other things do you do?
We've done different eye screening treatments. We did at Adlaki's Palace. We did at Olowu of Owu's Palace. And because of COVID, we have not done Ifo and Ewekoro, which we hope before the end of the year, we should be able to cater for them.
Okay, I was going to ask, but earlier I said that, how much of influence of your father, the revered Chief Neyi Adigbenro, Baloro of Egbaland, and of course your mom, also from the great Rewane family. How much of this combination influenced you? But you seem to have answered that. But let me just give you another opportunity. Yes, sir. I mean, what does that make you feel, being the son of Chief Adigbenro, and of course the son of the daughter of the legendary Pariwane?
Okay, if we're going to start with the grandparents before we get to the parents, yes, I'm the first grandchild of Pa Alfred Owane, who was assassinated, as we all know, who had a passion for Nigeria, for democracy, and he was a very strict man and very straight man. I had a lot of dealings with him because he had a lot of influence in my life. And one thing is, his shoes are too big for me. I'm only trying to enter the shoes now. My father's father, who was Premier of the Western Region, DS Adigbenro, which you all know him. I was too young to know him because I was 3 when he passed on.
He passed on, okay.
But from the discipline that I have from my father, who is a very disciplined man, Chief Neyi Adigbenro, I'd always say, keep your name. There's nothing more important than your name. Anything, stay the path of saying the truth and try and help people as much as you can. He's a semi-retired or not tired politician. As he says he is, but I look at it and I follow him, I admire him. He's my only father. My mother is late, you know. And in the same light, my mother too, the role she played is uncountable as a mother. You know the relationship between boys and their mother. So I think generally it's a big task on my shoulder. And hopefully by the grace of God, I'll soon be 50. And I think it's time that I should showcase what my family, from DF Adigbenro to my father, Chief Neyi Adigbenro, to my grandfather, from my mother's side, Pa Alfred Rawani, to my late mother, Madam Sumele Rawani, to all my family members and friends that I come. And
most of the people in your age bracket are unemployed.
Yes.
And of course, how do this make you feel, talking about unemployment generally in this country?
You see, we are facing a global thing in Nigeria right now. It's global, it's everywhere. Places are closing, people are jobless and everything. But when it comes to Nigeria, it's very peculiar because it pains me and it saddens me that how did we get to where we are today? But one thing about the mandate from the presidents, for instance now, for NatForce, we are planning to employ a lot of Nigerians to take these jobless boys or women from the street, educate them, let them have job, and let them be part of our association. Our association.
Them to do what?
To fight our battle of NatForce indirectly. For instance, from what level? You have someone that has an HND. If he's employed from whichever zone he is from or whichever state he's from, we train them, they join, and it's based on intelligence. Our work is strictly intelligent. We don't have the mandate to arrest. Our own is to find and hand over to the right authorities. We're not in competition with anybody. We're working in line. You get what I'm saying? And when it comes to security, you have to bring in the issue of NSA. NSA, this will enhance his job because we are not in direct competition with anybody. Ours is to fill in the gap and make sure that everybody knows what is going on. Because you see, if you have idle minds and you have ammunition, how is Nigeria going to move? Young boys are going around killing people, doing robbery, doing banditry, doing whatsoever you want to call it.
Invariably, the security situation is so worrisome.
It is very extremely worrisome. But the good thing that I've seen, I've been doing security for 17 years. That's my core business.
Okay.
So I have interaction with all of them. And with the new sets of army chiefs, service chiefs that the president employed, you can see that they're going in the right direction. But then again, we have to help them. And by helping them, meaning that they are overstretched. We talk about budget for them. The budget is nothing to them. When you're looking at countries like Afghanistan or other countries, look at what they spend. Where they are buying 100 tankers, we are buying 2 or 3 and we are celebrating. What is that going to face? Manpower is not there. We need a lot of manpower.
But if you have a peaceful society, you don't need 100 tankers.
If we have, but we don't have, who is safe? I got personally robbed in Abuja 4 o'clock on a Friday after mosque. I parked my car just to give 3 elderly women money, which is sadaqah. I gave the first woman, I gave the second woman, I gave the third woman. The next thing, walking towards my car, I saw a swamp of beggars that I thought were beggars coming. We started scoffing. The next thing, I saw that something was really entering my right ribs. But when I looked down, I saw it was a gun. They went away with my wristwatch, my telephone, the money I had, my slippers and everything. So if you're looking at Abuja, that's meant, I thought was the safest place you can. If it's in Lagos, I'll be more careful.
Broad daylight.
You know, and broad daylight on a Friday, which was reported to the police, which was carried in the papers. You get what I'm saying? So that people are aware. There's so many things that is not being said. And I urge people to come out to say it so that you don't know who you might be saving. We have a bad suicide rate in Nigeria. We have young people taking drugs, which is very rampant in Nigeria. We are jobless. The security situation is out of hand. You cannot count the amount of money the president has spent on security, and yet we don't get these results. The president has tried, whether we like it or not. Everybody might say yes, everything lies on the president. But everything they've asked for, from security to COVID to all, he has given them the money for it. So if people do not have the vision of the president, how is Nigeria going to move forward?
All right, definitely you belong to the young generation, just about to be 50, and people are always saying that the future belongs to the youth, and of course give the youth the opportunity to serve, but are they getting enough opportunity? And we want to say that the kind of confidence, the kind of appointment, like if you look at the EFCC, it's a young guy that is heading that agency. What does that say about the confidence, the elderly ones now? Because that's a sensitive agency, no doubt about it, and it's being headed by a young man. What's your thought about this?
Well, I think it's a plus for Mr. President, because it shows that in his body language, he wants the youth to come on board. When you have such a sensitive position headed by a young man as chairman of EFCC, I think is a very good idea because, one, boldness comes into it, knowledge comes into it, exposure comes into it. And we have to keep encouraging for other people to come out from their professional career and join government. Government is all inclusive. It's not you being old or you being young. We all have to come together as one to make sure it works. Because you see, that gaps that we are missing in Nigeria, it is very painful. No matter what, even if I was a second citizen in another country, I'm still a Nigerian. What am I leaving behind for my children or my grandchildren? Is this what I want them to say? Our traditional institution, problem. Bringing up our children, problem. Which children? Look at the way parents are bringing up their children. Charity begins at home.
They don't even have time for their children?
They don't. And the ones that do, they don't care what their children are doing. You know, so they believe it's their bed and call.
Because the system does not allow them to have time.
It's not that the system, I don't believe it's the system that doesn't allow you to have time. If you spend 3-4 hours a day with your child and you treat him and you know that this is the part you want him to tow, he will tow. When I was growing up, we grew up watching NTA news. After NTA news, my grandfather would say we should all go to bed, because that's when you now see the multicolored lines on the TV. You know that they have finished the program for the day.
But now they grow up watching.
They grow up, they don't even care.
They watch BBN.
Yeah. They watch BBN and the devil tool, which I always refer to, that is spoiling the global world, is telecommunication. You get what I'm saying? It's too advanced for a lot of people. That's why we're seeing different things happening. We have so many social medias that post different things that people will not be watching or doing. How do you monitor that?
Now, still talking about leadership.
Yes.
People think we have some fantastic youth that can, if given opportunity, that can actually lead the country aright. There have been talks that we have too many old men in politics that should give. But as a youth, if you don't have the money, Nigerian politics is money-based. Don't let's kid ourselves. If you don't have the money and you don't have a godfather, how do you rub shoulders for you to have the opportunity to showcase what you have and contribute your quota to the development of the nation?
First and foremost, yes.
Challenging.
It is challenging, I would agree with you, but the very most important thing is the youth of nowadays have to come out. Nobody is going to give you the baton. You have to fight for the baton. If they come out en masse, I think in 2023 it's going to be a different type of election. I don't see it going to be party-based. I see it as it's going to be individuals that they're going to vote for. And I know the youths will come out. Look at this instance of MSAS. Look at the way he went. He almost shut down the whole country, whether we like it or not. These are only youths. So they will come out. And I'm encouraging them to come out because, yes, we have. You go to places, you see a professor at a young age, he doesn't have a job in the country, in Nigeria, and we're happy, and we sleep well at night, and we pray. It's only God that is keeping Nigeria as one.
For them to come out, yeah, assuming they come out, and of course they must convince people, and then assuming they convince people, their votes must count. For their votes to count, we must have credible election. And of course, for us to have credible elections, everything must be transparent. And part of the transparency is the fact that we should have electronic transmission of results, and you can feel the foot dragging. How does this make you feel?
You see, there are two sides of that, because I don't have the exact facts. It's what we read in the papers and what you hear. Yes, e-voting is what everybody uses.
INEC says they can do it.
Yes.
They have what it takes to do it.
Oh yes, they can do it.
Those who should give them the courage and the stamp to go ahead are for dragging. We know what happened at the National Assembly.
Yes, but that was a single...
Some voted against electronic. Why should our politicians always stand against things that will make our elections credible? This should worry us.
It is worrisome. But you said it, our politicians. Who are our politicians? How many of them have the interest of Nigeria? How many? It's written on the wall. How many? Even not the politicians. Think of all the billionaires, millionaires, and everybody. It's all about personal self-interest. The only person that you can say, not in my family, in Nigeria, that does not have personal interest is President Muhammadu Buhari. And I believe that he's going to shock a lot of people when it comes to 2023 to have a credible election. Let us have e-voting. If the House cannot pass e-voting, then we have a problem, because we know where they're going towards. We are not all stupid. But it's at this time, everybody must come out and let everybody's voice be heard. If we're going to do that, then I'm sorry, we don't know where we are going to. This regime, yes, they've done quite a lot, but because of the insecurity and so many other things, we are blinded that we don't actually see what they are doing. Because they are doing. Look at the railways. It's been done. COVID, with all people dying, Nigeria was still way down in the list. Money was spent. You get me? Security, money they've been spending, but because of lack of job and this particular importation of these arms and ammunitions and chemical weapons that is being passed to the joblessness is what is killing the nation right now.
Is it not sad that at this period, globally,
yeah,
you look at the nation, you remember Nigeria, you always say, when you talk about Africa, you always say, want to talk about Nigeria immediately. But doctors on strike. I mean, what does this say about the country?
Well, we've always had doctors on strike in every region.
Which is not too good.
Which is not too good.
Especially in Nigeria, it is becoming incessant.
Yes. But you see, you also have to look at the pocket of Nigeria. So don't let us get insensitive to government. It's what you have that you can give. And unfortunately, some they get, but they don't give.
That does not mean you should sign an agreement and not go by the agreement.
Well, the people that signed the agreement, they know why they are not honoring it. We all know what is going on in government. It's not on TV or announcement on radio. We know what happens. Look at the courts going on what's called strike. They had an agreement, but the state governors were not going to do it because the money was coming to the state, and from the state government, they will go to the judges. And they wanted to strictly be autonomy, which they agreed on, which is a good thing. Like what happened with local government and state government. It is a good thing. And this is part of the thing that you see. And also, the biggest thing that we have is the corruption. Because if any corruption, it fights you back when you're fighting it. Unfortunately, our president cannot do what we expected him to do, being a military regime, head of state. Now it's democracy. There's process. You cannot just do what you want. But the man is trying, but the people that are also in government, there's a lot of them that are saboteurs.
Anyway, well, you're entitled to your opinion, but Nigerian brand of democracy, when people are saying we can't afford it.
We cannot afford it.
Damn too expensive.
It's very expensive. Why don't you go back to parliamentary? If it's too much, let's downsize. But you see, you can't downsize because you look at the volume of people who come into politics. They come in with their billions to get voted in and all that.
Quickly, let's talk about philanthropism again. I saw a clip of yours where you were saying, even in Ogun State, there are lots of rich people that can take care of the problems of the needies in the state. And you are saddened that they don't seem to care.
They don't care. Most of them live in Lagos. I've spoken to a lot of them. If we all put like minds together, we'll be supporting our state government. And if everybody does that in each state, I don't think there will be much pressure either state or federal level. Because yes, they do have the money. You have the money, you send your children abroad, you keep your money abroad and all that. What are you doing that for? Why don't you invest it in your own country? If you want to curb corruption, my advice to the president is that anybody that they catch, yes, seize the money, but that money cannot leave Nigeria. You should use that money to do something in Nigeria.
I like what is written on your shirt. I'm a Nigerian, my tribe comes second. But our leaders, are they practicing this?
This is me.
Would they say the same time in Nigeria?
This is my main motto.
So that's the message for people to follow.
This is my main motto. Anywhere that I go in the world, any t-shirt I'm wearing is that I'm a Nigerian, I'm a tribe come second, because this is one of the things that is killing Nigeria. If you go to England, would you ask a British man where he's from? And he'll tell you that he's from Essex or Birmingham. He'll tell you I'm British or I'm from the United Kingdom. If you go to America and you ask where are you from, I'm American. Does he tell you he's from Los Angeles or is he from New York?
Maybe because right from day one, Nigeria was built on tribal sentiments. I mean, before becoming
keep saying,
Nigeria.
But when I was growing up in my own...
But we can change.
In my own time, it wasn't like that. My son, his mother, is from Zaria. I'm from South, West, and South. So back then, everybody cohabited. But because of selfishness of
I agree with you.
Nigerians for their need, they are now playing tribal.
Yorubas will stay in the north and feel comfortable.
Yes.
Igbos have, I mean,
You know,
in the south.
it is totally, you know, and all these things are things that are easy to fix. We need to push the bad eggs out and bring in new ideas. You and I were in the same age category. If our children should pick up this telephone, you and I will not be able to do half of the thing they do on the telephone.
Sure.
So let us motivate them too to enter the system, not for them to see what is going on and part on that way of saying corruption is the way forward. Nobody is saying that you shouldn't do jobs in Nigeria and get paid. Do the job, get paid, and you still, what's it called, make your commission.
How do you relax? Are you a social person? Do you go to parties?
I'm not. I had a very wonderful youthfulness. And I think at this stage I am right now, I just want to concentrate more on what my foundation is about and my family. Those are the two key things that is important, and my close friends and people that come, that you feel can do things in Nigeria.
And music? When you listen to music, what brand of music?
I listen to all sorts, but nowadays I hardly listen to music. And it will surprise you that I hardly watch television. The only time I watch television is if they're playing football. And that's because I support Liverpool, because all the other news is all bad things that is going around in the whole world.
Okay, as we go on the program, what will be your passing shots? Talking about your philosophy, talking about your dream for Nigeria. What will be your message?
Well, first of all, my dream for Nigeria, it should be the dream of when I was a youth, how Nigeria was. There was order. Corruption was not in our face. Discipline was there. That is what I want Nigeria to be. Then, secondly, Nigerians should search their soul. The Christians go to church, the Muslims go to church. But when you have corruption and you are suffering a country, your prayers will only stay above your head. Baba God will not listen to it. Let us do the right thing and stop being selfish, because this our nation is cracking down quick.
Thank you very much. Let us do the right thing and stop being selfish, and of course see yourself first, just like him, as a Nigerian before any tribe. Of course, I've been talking to Ambassador Dr. Otumba Adejare Adegbinro, the National Director, Special Duties and State Director of Ogun State, talking about National Task Force, or simply NATFORCE, and of course also the founder of OAAF Otumba Adejare Adegbinro Foundation. And of course, they've involved with so many things, sinking boreholes here and there, and of course, bringing specialists to look into the problems of the eyes, and of course, providing people with eye operations and glasses here and there. He's been talking about his vision for Nigeria. You want to say one more thing before we go?
We're also doing palliatives, and I'm also trying to encourage people. You don't have to be from Ogun State that you have to help Ogun State. Anywhere the needies are, I think people should come out. We have successful bank MDs, we have successful businessmen. They should all come out and help the less privileged. You get what I'm saying? As much as I pray and I'm praying for my family, is the same way I think we should be helping the less privileged.
Thank you very much. That's how far we can go on the personal segment of the program. Once again, Otumba Adejare Adigbenu, I want to wish you all the best. Thanks very much for coming onto the program. All right, the program continues as I take you back in time to the music of the good old days.